I think most people relocating to northern Colorado are making the same mistake every single time. They're spending their time looking at Fort Collins, Windsor, Timnath, maybe even Berthoud, some of the most expensive places to buy in northern Colorado, and they're completely overlooking Johnstown.
Yeah, which is honestly kind of crazy because 20 years ago, Johnstown was a small farming town that most people in Colorado barely even talked about.
Yeah, and today it's one of the fastest growing communities in the United States alone. And while everyone else is fighting over the same neighborhoods in Fort Collins, putting in over the top offers, and in Timnath, buyers are quietly discovering that they can get newer homes, larger lots, easier commutes, and potentially save tens of thousands of dollars moving to Johnstown, Colorado.
Yeah, but here's the question. Is Johnstown really a hidden gem, or is it just getting all the hype?
Yeah, because of Buc-ee's is out there.
Yeah, the growth isn't always a good thing. We want to know, can the schools keep up? What does crime actually look like? How bad is traffic going to be getting with all these people coming? And are buyers actually getting a better value than other northern Colorado communities?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but today we are going to break it down. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take the home prices, the cost of living, the schools, the commute times, crime and safety, and the future growth that we are completely seeing in Johnstown. And we're also going to hit some of the top neighborhoods so you guys can really get an idea of what Johnstown really looks like, lifestyle-wise, and what you're going to get price point-wise.
Absolutely. So by the end of this video, you'll know whether Johnstown deserves a spot at the top of your relocation list or not. So let's get into it. So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Talk Colorado. I'm Zach Jordan.
My name is Connor Martin.
And this is a channel where we're going to break down the real truth about living here in northern Colorado.
None of that stupid fluff you're seeing all over the rest of YouTube.
Yeah, there's not going to be any sugarcoating of like, hey, you should move here because it's great. Let's make a deal and close. So
just honest local insight from people who live here and help relocate buyers here every single week. Now let's start with the biggest reason most people end up looking in Johnstown in the first place, the moolah. Because if you're relocating from another state and searching online, chances are you're going to find Fort Collins, Windsor, Timnath pop up constantly. That's what most videos are on, and what you're going to see on Google ads all the time is look at Fort Collins, look how pretty we are. But then you start looking at the prices, the cost of living, the lifestyle, and then suddenly Johnstown starts looking pretty dang attractive.
Heck yes, it does. I actually just recently bought 3 investment properties over in Johnstown because those numbers just make sense. So
right now it's time to get in before it gets bigger. That's the thing. You want to get in there before they start adding all this stuff. I mean, they've already increased significantly.
Yes, tons and tons.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now the median home price in Johnstown is like in the mid 480s. So I mean, that's a good deal. 480 in Loveland right now will get you kind of a 3-bedroom turnkey-ish home, but
gonna need some love and some updates.
Gonna need some love, some TLC.
Yep. Yeah. You're not gonna be getting much new build, especially for that 480 to 500 range in Loveland or really anywhere else in northern Colorado, unless you want to head out to Wellington, Colorado, and be out in the boonies.
And some places or some people, that's the perfect place for them to land.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the median household income in Johnstown is approximately like $129,000 annually, which is a pretty good.
That's a solid. Yeah, especially when everything there is a little bit cheaper. You're not paying extensive taxes in Johnstown because you're in Weld County. Great county to be a part of.
Yes.
Sometimes I think it's better than Larimer County, so just something to think about. And if we compare that to Fort Collins, we're comparing homes that are often around that $590 mark or more for the same type of house. I mean, and a lot of times those ones that in Fort Collins are going to be less updated, less taken care of, because Fort Collins is more of a transient town, in my opinion. People are moving there for 3 to 5 years and then piecing out and heading to the next the next place, and they leave the house kind of in disarray.
Lived in hard is the term I like to use.
There's a better word. Disarray might sound like it's from a fantasy book.
This house has been lived in hard, and you can definitely tell when it is one of those.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like a renter's house.
Yeah. So for many buyers, that creates a sweet spot with that price range because you can afford a newer home, you can get more square footage, more bedrooms, a larger lot, and still stay within that budget that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, you get to spend less on a house and have more for fun stuff like boats, RVs, toys, and everything like that.
And who doesn't love toys?
Oh, heck yeah, I'd rather have toys than a house.
You want motorcycles?
Oh, yeah. If I could live on a motorcycle, that would work perfect. But let's put this into perspective. So if you're going to be buying a house in that $500K price point, what are you going to get in Fort Collins typically? It's going to be small. It's going to be a 1,200 to 1,800 square foot home. It's going to be built in that 1970s to 1980s time frame, maybe into the 2000s if you're lucky. A lot of times they're going to be bi-level, tri-level, quad levels. They're not going to be your regular, ranch or two-style homes. A lot of times you're really only going to get about a 3-bedroom to 2-bath. A lot of times you might see more of a 3-bedroom to 1-bath ratio in Fort Collins. So be prepared for that. If you like sharing your bathroom with, your family.
Not with this guy.
I call it good luck on that one because that would be hard for me to do. I need at least 8 bathrooms in my house so my wife can't find me. You're definitely going to be getting smaller lots and potentially some pretty serious cosmetic updates, honestly, because you are looking at those homes from the 70s and 80s that were probably rentals or, again, more disturbed property.
Yes.
I got to think of a better word.
But meanwhile, in Johnstown, that same budget, it's going to get you a lot more. You're going to get anywhere between 18 to 2,600 square feet. It's going to be a newer build, that 2020 and all the way up to 2026. We're going to get anywhere between 3 to 5 bedrooms, 2 to 4 baths. They're all going to have
pretty much open floor plan
just because it's that newer build.
There's a couple of those split levels, but they typically are even cheaper than that 480 mark most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So open floor plans, you're going to have those new kitchens, you're going to have those vaulted ceilings, those cathedral ceilings. You're going to get all those things that you want on your wish list. It's just going to be affordable in Johnstown.
Yep. And then when we talk about like long term, your systems are going to be updated. They're going to be newer. They're going to be fresher. So you're not going to be dumping into money that is not fun to dump in. No one wants to replace a furnace. No one wants to replace the AC unit. It's terrible to have to replace a dang water heater. In Johnstown, you're going to have less likely chance of having that happen.
Yeah, and it's not all new build in Johnstown. They do still have a nice, cute little old town of Johnstown, and you're starting to see some of those homes just get completely updated, renovated, and it's going to have that same downtown Loveland, downtown Fort Collins feel. Walking to the breweries, walking to Wing Shack, the coffee shop, the YMCA, hopping on your bike.
Yep.
The trails will eventually be over there, all connected to everything in the trail system, because that's one thing that Loveland, Fort Collins, and Windsor now has is that interconnected trail system. So
Johnstown's right around the corner, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be amazed from when we first were out there to where they are now. What they have built out there. I mean, it is starting to become a very sexy town.
Yeah. Connor's getting on board.
Yeah, more and more each day as I go out there. And honestly, that's one of the biggest surprises buyers have when they visit Johnstown versus a Fort Collins, Windsor, or a Timnath.
Yeah, and we hear it all the time. We had no idea we can get this much house. And really, in Johnstown, that's where they shine. Fort Collins has become largely built out. Timnath is rapidly growing. Windsor continues to expand, but Johnstown still has plenty of room for you to get in before the curve. Room for houses, room for businesses, room for infrastructure, room for future opportunity. That is where you want to be.
Being in Weld County makes such a difference if you're wanting to run a business, if you're wanting to do something that's outside the box of what Fort Collins seems kosher. And so if you're looking to actually do something in northern Colorado, I would look at Johnstown because they are growing. They want growth. They want people. They want businesses there. So it's a heck of a great spot to be. And for the buyers looking at the next 10 years, instead of just today, the now, that's really important conversation to have when looking at Johnstown, Colorado. And honestly, guys, if you're thinking about relocating to northern Colorado and trying to figure out which town actually fits your lifestyle and the budget especially, that's literally what we help people do every single week. We help them define that budget, find the right location, find that right lifestyle, and we help them make that move.
Yeah, so whether if you're considering Johnstown, Loveland, Fort Collins, Windsor, Timnath, Berthoud, or even somewhere else entirely, like Greeley, Johnstown, Greeley, Longmont, anything like that, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, if you guys call us, I'm a huge caller person, so always feel free to call. Text is always great for Zach. I maybe not be the best texter in the world. Emails are always great. You can always add both of us on there, and always message us any way you guys possibly can if you're looking to make that move out to northern Colorado.
Absolutely. Make sure that you also subscribe because we've got a lot more of northern Colorado videos coming every single week. We release every Monday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so stay tuned and make sure that you see us.
So the biggest question, why has Johnstown grown so dang quickly, man?
Well, I can tell you a few different things. Location, value, opportunity. And those are just some of the biggest reasons.
I generally can honestly see that. I mean, Johnstown's population has grown from an approximately 17,000 people. Now in 2026, 23,000 some people or residents are now living in Johnstown, Colorado. That's nearly 6,000 new residents in about 6 years. And if you look at it, 6,000 residents is some of our small towns here in northern Colorado.
Yeah.
So it has grown by a whole nother small town.
Yeah, that's just incredible growth. But that's what I find interesting, because actually building infrastructure along the side of the growth.
Yep, they're actually paying attention to the plan of the town. They're not just throwing it together like I would say Windsor has, honestly.
Absolutely. They got ledge rock in there, which is going to be the big commercial industry.
Huge.
I mean, they're putting in tons of apartment complexes.
Yep,
and
solid
right
golf
there.
course is already out there.
Yes.
Seeing guys actually playing out there.
Yeah, that's competing with TPC. So, like,
Yep.
if you're a big golfer, which is not me, I enjoy the golf course, but
I like looking at the
don't go
beauty,
there.
but I don't like
Yeah.
swinging the golf club.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
So a lot of communities grow real fast at first and figure it out later, like all the infrastructure.
Windsor, Timnath.
And, yeah,
Go look
Johnstown
at there.
seems to understand that many residents commute elsewhere for work and relocation, so they're planning accordingly for all of that traffic, for that increase of population, for grocery shopping, for everything you need, haircuts, vets, everything like that.
Yeah, you get so many roads that can get you into Johnstown, the back routes. You don't always have to jump on I-25. You don't always have to go on the main corridors to get into Johnstown. There's so many opportunities being on that east side of getting down to Denver without even seeing I-25, which is just, in my opinion, well worth the time and effort. Being in Loveland, it's a little harder to make that work. And I think that's one of the reasons why buyers keep coming here, because they have really planned the city out well. They're in a great location that in my opinion, honestly beats a lot of other towns that are up north.
Absolutely. So quick question for you guys. If you've been looking at northern Colorado, what made Johnstown land on your radar? Was it the price? Was it the newer homes? Is it the location?
Yep.
Drop a comment below, because we're always curious what brings people on here and puts Johnstown on the radar.
Yeah, no, because we only know so much. So if you guys are doing more research, drop it down, share it with the other people that are going to be looking at this video. It is so helpful to have a community around you that can actually share and give opinions and ideas. And if you live in Johnstown, definitely leave some ideas and opinions in there as well.
Absolutely, because everybody, I mean, I'm going to throw shade at Fort Collins. Fort Collins always looks at Johnstown like, no, that's a little farm town, but it's completely not. So we'd
Yep.
love to hear from you guys, and so we can show Fort Collins what
Show them
Johnstown's
what's
all
up.
about.
There's other places than Fort Collins in northern Colorado.
100%.
And Boulder. Screw Boulder. But now let's talk about one of the biggest things Johnstown has an advantage on.
Yeah, because honestly, I think it gets overlooked all the time. Approximate drive times, like to Centerra, is only going to be about 10 minutes.
That's your big shopping center.
Yep.
Shields. You got the mall. You got some pretty nice dining options up there.
Bad Daddy's, Bonefish.
They got I can't remember, the Cars Collective, which is like a fine dining.
Fine dining,
Yep.
yes, over there. I mean, and then to get to Loveland, you're like 10, 15 minutes. So, like,
Yep.
if Woods Market is not where you want to shop, or you don't want to shop at Hayes Market's a little more expensive in downtown. That was the original market for the community. You can hop over to King Soopers, Walmart, whatever that may be, and that's only going to be about 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then if Greeley is where you're working at and you don't want to live there, I could attest to that. Like, I would have a job in Greeley, but
I
that's
wouldn't
not
live
going to
there.
be my top place, and I probably wouldn't pick to live there.
Yeah, I don't think you're probably going to see a video of Greeley anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, you can make that commute in 15, 20 minutes. All the way to Fort Collins. I know a lot of people work in Fort Collins. My sister works at Woodward. She lives in Johnstown. It takes her about 25, 30 minutes to get all the way to Woodward, which is going to be on that north side of Fort Collins. So hopping on I-25. You got Longmont. It's going to be another 20, 25 minutes to Longmont, which isn't crazy. And then if you are one of those Boulder people, you're closer to that 40, 45 minutes to Boulder.
Yep.
I mean, and at that, you're 50 minutes to Denver, and then everybody wants to know, how long does it take to get to DIA?
Of course.
Because who doesn't want to go travel, or when family comes in,
How far do I got to drive?
Yes, I never want like anything more than an hour, and this definitely gets you into that time crunch. It's going to be about 45, 50 minutes to DIA, which isn't bad to go pick up family.
Yep.
If it's a 2-hour drive, I'm going to be like, rent a car or get a
We'll get you
ride.
an Uber. It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're really basically positioned in the middle of everything. I mean, it is the best place to be if you are a commuter and you don't mind taking a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, and that flexibility matters, because you're not trying to be one of those cities that you can work in, like Loveland, Fort Collins, Windsor, Greeley, Longmont. I mean, even Denver. You're going to be
people that commute to
commuting
Denver,
for all of these places.
Oh, yeah. And people don't realize just how many major employees are in that 20 to 30 minute range. So if you're not bringing a job that's remote and stuff and you're looking for a job, I think Johnstown's going to be a pretty sweet spot for you, depending on what kind of industry you're in.
Absolutely. We have a lot of people that are going to be working at like UC Health, Banner Health, Colorado State, Broadcom, Woodward, like I already mentioned with my sister, Vestas, JBS, Hewlett Packard Enterprises, and I mean, there's so many more. Like, there are a ton of opportunities.
Yeah, you're in that 20-minute mark to pretty much hit everything.
Yeah.
So you're not really just moving to that small town with limited job opportunities. You're positioning yourself to where you're going to be in one of the strongest areas for employment in Colorado in terms of Northern Colorado corridor.
Absolutely. So a little history about Johnstown. Johnstown officially became incorporated in 1907. Originally, it was a small agricultural community build around farming and railroad activity.
Just like everything else.
Yep. Just like our Timnath that we kind of shared with on our previous video. If you hadn't seen that one, make sure you jump back, watch that one as well. But it was a good one too. Another small town, but very different feel.
And Johnstown for decades had stayed relatively small, while other neighboring communities grew and expanded.
Yeah, Northern Colorado exploded. Fort Collins expanded, Loveland expanded, Windsor expanded, and Johnstown found itself in a perfect location exactly at the right time.
Yep, and today it's become one of the fastest growing Colorado communities.
And it will continue to grow because they have tons of land and opportunity.
Yeah, you should see the map on the assessor's page. It is amazing how much land Johnstown owns. One thing that surprises a lot of that relocation buyers that are coming to Northern Colorado is just how different the neighborhoods feel in Johnstown. There is a plethora and a variety that hits pretty much everybody's check boxes.
Yeah, so let's start with Thompson River Ranch. This is probably one of the most talked about neighborhoods from people relocating or moving into Johnstown, just because it is a master plan community. It was one of the first master plan communities over in Johnstown. So they have all walking trails. There's going to be the K-8 school in the neighborhood. They continue to expand and go further east. They offer a lot of amenities, pocket parks, everything like that. So it is talked about quite a bit. Yeah,
and it's got a little stigmatism to it, to a certain regard. We're not going to go too in depth on it in this video. If you guys need another video talking more about Thompson River Ranch and why there's some issues with it, typically it comes down to the metro districts. Feel free to reach out to us if you want some personal questions answered, or if you guys want a video actually on Thompson River Ranch, hit us up and we can definitely make something like that happen.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're bypassing Thompson River Ranch and heading up to Pioneer Ridge. This is a great option for buyers looking for that newer and modern construction and layouts.
Yeah, that you're going to get that open concept floor plan. You're going to have those larger kitchens that all of us want, that convenient access to schools and commuter routes, and it becomes extremely popular.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to move into a nice new neighborhood and have everything fresh and ready to go. You don't get the mature landscaping, but if you're in there long enough, you definitely can. So Pioneer Ridge tends to attract the move-up buyers for Johnstown or other areas around Northern Colorado.
Yeah, they're going to be those bigger homes. You're going to get those 3-car garages that we want, those larger lots.
0.2 to 0.3 acre lots.
Yeah, some mountain views in some of the areas and quieter atmosphere.
Yeah. Now let's roll into Rolling Hills Ranch. And it's interesting because the long-term growth potential that it has.
Yeah, it's still developing, still evolving, and buyers who want to get into a growing area often keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and then we're bypassing right across there and heading over to Johnstown Farms.
Which is perfect for buyers who prefer that mature landscaping and established neighborhoods, still those larger trees, a lot of character, more established streetscapes.
It's going to be just more grown. I mean, it was built in the 90s and early 2000s, so you got a little bit more love in the landscaping that you're not going to have in the new builds.
Absolutely.
And honestly, this is where we always remind people, the neighborhood often matters more than the actual house.
Yes, you can always renovate a kitchen. You can always update flooring. You can always put on paint. You can do all those kind of aesthetic things.
Put lipstick on the pig if you actually needed to.
Absolutely. But one thing you can change is your location. So get where you want to land and make those changes accordingly.
Yeah. And if you're curious which neighborhoods are going to fit you best, fit your lifestyle best, please drop a comment down below or just reach out to us. And we're here to answer any questions we can possibly do for you and get you the research and information to make your move to Northern Colorado just that little bit easier.
So one of the biggest factors that we always have to hit on for every community that we're going to talk about are going to be the schools, because schools matter to families.
It does, yeah. You don't want to be sending your kids to the ghetto of, Wellington.
Yes.
I'm kidding. They're not the ghetto.
They're the brand new school system that they have. That's Pooter. Yeah. If that's your ghetto, Connor, I feel sorry for the people.
I was going to say, I live in a whole different world, that Loveland area. But anyways, most of Johnstown is going to be served by Weld County RE5J school district. So look that up if you need more information.
Yeah, and one of the biggest district strengths is going to be Roosevelt High School. This is going to be a brand new facility that they just built 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is top notch.
It is a sexy school when you go out there and drive by it. And you will see, just like most northern Colorado areas, because, again, Fort Collins gets all the love for the schools, but in Johnstown, the graduation rate is very similar to Fort Collins at 87%. The average SAT scores are going to be approximately around 1,100. Your average ACT scores are going to hover around that 24. And so that is pretty solid. I mean, there's not much difference between a Johnstown school and a Fort Collins school. And so I'm not sure why Fort Collins schools always get that overhyped compared to all these other northern Colorado towns. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
We're pretty solid up here in northern Colorado, no matter what town you move to.
Mm-hmm. And that's super, super impressive because the focus is on career paths here. So health sciences, engineering, agriculture, your business, public safety, like your normal trades like plumbers, electricians, everything like that.
Yeah,
programs for that.
They're bringing that stuff back. I had that when I was in high school. I had engineering. I had shop class. I had wood class. And I've heard a lot of schools these days are getting rid of those courses because they're so expensive to maintain and keep up. Well, Johnstown has put a emphasis on them. And I think with the idea of college kind of going out of style as we keep going through the years, those kind of classes are going to really allow your kids to kind of expand and really be able to see what they truly want to do as they get older, because half of us don't even know by the time we get to our age.
And Connor and I are still trying to figure it out. But right now we love real estate, so let's just keep following that love.
Yeah, maybe that OnlyFans is the day I'm going at some point, but I haven't figured out how to make that work yet. So one of the great things about Johnstown schools is going to be that they're going to have some really top-notch AP courses. They're going to have concurrent enrollment where they're going to be able to take some of those classes and move it over to Front Range or over to CSU. They have some great athletic programs that are getting in there, and they're bringing in some top competitive teams. They have FFA, which is great for anyone who wants to be in the agricultural programs. They have STEM leadership programs. They have some really great organizations that help kids succeed in extracurricular activities.
Absolutely. And one thing that I kind of like is that they're not forcing every student down one single path of college, trades, healthcare, engineering. Yeah. The opportunities there are endless.
Yeah, there are more jobs than just going and being a doctor. I mean, my parents always wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer. But shit, my parents have never needed a lawyer. They need a mechanic, and I never made it that far.
Yeah, college isn't for everybody. It is great. It's always something that no one can take away from you. It's going to be knowledge and education. But in reality, sometimes you should go that trade route.
There's alternate routes.
You could be a crane operator, go and make 18 months.
Some money, man.
Training, yeah. You're going to start out at $150K starting salary and not have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt from going to college. So
that's exactly right. Now, let's talk about the next biggest concern, which is crime. Yeah, Denver crime, baby. We're all there for it. We're a bad place. We got bad apples here. Just kidding. Yeah, because this is another question that we honestly get quite a bit, and it can be a hard question to answer sometimes.
Yeah, and overall, Johnstown has developed a reputation as a safe, family-oriented community.
Yep. I mean, it's not like a Greeley, Colorado, when it comes to crime rates. Sorry, I don't need to keep bashing
it. Another video.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, violent crime rate sits around that 1.7 to 2.6 incidents per 1,000 residents. That's well below both Colorado and national averages. That's what you're going to get with a smaller town.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, once you're becoming a victim of a violent crime in Johnstown, approximately 1 in 570-ish, compared to roughly 1 in 210 statewide.
That's pretty rough. I mean, I'm guessing that's a Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and Denver issue.
Well, that's a statewide, so we got outliers and whatnot, so yeah, that's how that goes.
Yeah, that's true. And most reported incidents tend to be property crimes rather than violent crimes. Your catalytic converter might be stolen out of the bottom of your truck. If you leave your car unlocked, it might get broken into, and maybe some perfume gets taken out. Even in a Bozeman, Montana, that's what happened to my car. Is someone broke in.
They took your perfume?
Yeah, they took my, Kalagana. and I was, not that upset. It was Curve, so it wasn't that expensive. They got $20 from me.
Dang it. it. So remember that no place is ever going to be perfect, but compared to other larger communities in Colorado, Johnstown performs very well.
Yes, it does, 100%. All right, now we're finally to our last sections. Thank you guys if you have made it this far. This is where things get really interesting because Johnstown is growing. One of the biggest reasons why buyers are excited about Johnstown or getting more excited today is that what is coming in the future for Johnstown, Colorado.
Johnstown was recently ranked as the top 10 fastest growing communities in the United States among cities over 20,000 people. That is huge.
Oh gosh, yeah. And we're already seeing major developments. The big example is going to be Ledge Rock.
Yes. When completed, Ledge Rock is expected to include more than 1 million square feet of retail space, approximately 1,200 apartment units, around 150 to 200 single family homes, commercial office space, restaurants, retail,
everything,
services. It's going to encompass everything.
You're not going to have to leave Johnstown to go have some fun, which is what we're pretty much stating. And that's just the shopping center. That's essentially a brand new district within the town.
And that's one of the top developments already underway. Freddy's Frozen Custard. We got the tire shop. You got small sliders. You got additional retail, commercial flex space. There's RV storage out there. Warehouse expansion is happening. New services. Businesses every day, like all your vets and
people are bringing their businesses there because it's easier to start a business there than you will in Fort Collins. We see a whole bunch of businesses go out of operation in Fort Collins because it is so hard to keep and maintain that when you're paying the premiums, you're paying the cost, and then you got a bunch of regulations on top of it that Larimer County and Fort Collins put in place.
Oh, one thing that we did forget, we almost forgot Buc-ee's. Colorado's first Buc-ee's opened right here in Johnstown.
They got signs from 500 miles away.
I don't know how we missed this one, but yes, Buc-ee's in Johnstown. And whether you love it or hate it, it puts Johnstown on the map nationally because it is the second largest Buc-ee's in the U.S.
Yeah, there is literally a sign in Wyoming from like 500 miles away that says, "Come to Buc-ee's, 586 miles away."
Only 200 exits.
Yeah. And so, no, the retail follows traffic, business follows retail, and jobs follow businesses. And that creates that long-term opportunity that we are trying to promote that Johnstown provides that really no other town right now in Northern Colorado is providing.
Yeah, so I got a quick question for you. If you had $600,000 budget today, would you buy in Fort Collins, Windsor, Timnath, or would you actually take the jump and move into Johnstown? Drop below because I think the answer might surprise people where they actually will move.
Yeah. And so, honestly, man, who is Johnstown's actually a good fit for?
Families looking for more house for their money, first-time home buyers. You're going to have remote workers, people that can commute to work. You're going to have people that want access to multiple cities. Buyers who prefer newer neighborhoods and that small-town feel still.
Zach, you might know this best since you own some properties there. Who is probably not going to like this town?
People that are not going to love it are people wanting like that vibrant nightlife, that dense urban living, or that walkability of Old Town Fort Collins, because you're not going to get that in Johnstown.
Yeah, get yourself an electric bike. You'll probably be able to make it most anywhere. It's a great thing to do. Or get a horse. That's all.
Get a horse. I think Johnstown's way past having a horse. A
horse and buggy down.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so for many of these relocation buyers, Johnstown hits the sweet spot and becomes harder and harder to find in Colorado.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so, honestly, after looking at the home prices, the schools, the crime rate, neighborhoods, and honestly, the biggest thing, which is the future growth of Johnstown, honestly, what's the verdict, man?
Honestly, Johnstown might be one of the most underrated towns in Northern Colorado, is my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not going to be your Fort Collins. It's not going to be that Timnath, Colorado. It's not trying to be on it. It's trying to be its own thing.
Yeah, but if you're looking for more house, newer construction, smaller schools, reasonable commutes, future growth, and overall value, Johnstown deserves a serious look.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about relocating to Johnstown, Fort Collins, anywhere in Northern Colorado, honestly, we'd love to help you guys. We are here every day doing this, making sure we get our clients to the best place they need to be for lifestyle, price, and where they fit best.
Yeah, so pick up that phone, give us a call, text us, email us, message us, whatever works best for you. We help people make this move every single week, and we're happy to help you figure out which cities and neighborhoods are best for you.
Honestly, guys, if you got value from today's video, please make sure you guys like this video. If you guys could subscribe to this channel, it helps us out. Drop comments down below if you have any questions, concerns, or if you guys just want to troll the heck out of us. We're here to fight with you. And share it with anybody that is thinking about moving to Northern Colorado. And if for this video in particular, if they're looking for Johnstown, send it their way.
Yeah, and you know what? Until next time, keep it real. Peace.